So dear friends, in the previous class, we were discussing the various conditions and the various problems connected with the menstruation, the female menstrual bleedings. हम पुरानी क्लास में समझ रहे थे कि menstrual bleeding से संबंधित कई सारे रोग. So we were discussing about the connections of many menstrual diseases. So let's continue. So first we started our discussion that we want to balance any types of the hormonal problem. Then these are the basic points. अगर हम किसी भी प्रकार की हार्मोनल प्रॉब्लम को ठीक करना चाहते हैं तो ये हमारे बेसिक पॉइंट्स हैं. These are the basic points. We started our journey from here. So we are stimulating thalamus in the brain, endocrine, then the pituitary, then the one hormone secreted by the pituitary and acting on the testes and ovary, that is gonadotropin. So these are the four basic and the root thing. The thalamus is the part of the brain, endocrine is the controller of all the hormones, the pituitary gland is the master gland of all the hormone, and the gonadotropin hormone secreted by the pituitary gland who is working on the testes and ovary. So these are four the basic hormonal points. तो जब भी हम किसी भी प्रकार के हार्मोन को बैलेंस करना चाहते हैं तो ये हमारे चार मुख्य हार्मोन के पॉइंट्स हैं और यहां से हम ट्रीटमेंट स्टार्ट करते हैं. वी ऑलवेज स्टार्ट द ट्रीटमेंट फ्रॉम दीज फोर पॉइंट्स. So endocrine, thalamus, pituitary and gonadotropin hormone. Then we also have to balance the 5 element. So we are balancing the liver because liver is attacking everywhere here and there, and we are balancing the mother of liver, that is kidney. So we are also balancing kidney and liver, right? So this is the basic 6 points for the treatment of any types of the endocrine dysfunction. हम किसी भी प्रकार के endocrine dysfunction को ठीक करना चाहते हैं तो ये हमारे basic points हैं. So let's see here. The thalamus point will be here, but on the hidden side. The endocrine point will be here, little inner side. So this is the thalamus. On the hidden side. And this is the endocrine. On the inner side. And little outer side. This will be the location of pituitary. ये हमारे पिट्यूटरी पॉइंट की लोकेशन है. So this is the location of pituitary. And the gonadotropin hormone here on the hidden side. Okay, so these are the 4 hormonal points, G, T, H. So remember these 4 points if you want to balance any types of the hormonal dysfunction. अगर आप किसी भी प्रकार के हार्मोनल डिसफंक्शन को ट्रीट करना चाहते हैं तो इन 4 पॉइंट्स को हमेशा याद रखिएगा. So do not forget these 4 points. Other than this, the kidney point and the liver point. Okay, done. So the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now we want to treat the menstrual problem, which is the problem connected with the endocrine dysfunction. So the 6 point will be there. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 are the hormonal points. And 2 points will be kidney and liver. So again, these are the 6 points, same point. अब हम मेंस्ट्रुएशन को रेगुलेट करना चाहते हैं, तो 6 पॉइंट तो वही हो गए, 4 हार्मोन के और 2 5 एलिमेंट को बैलेंस करने के, लिवर और किडनी, लिवर को बैलेंस करने के, लिवर का और उसकी मदर किडनी का. Now we want to balance the menstruation, so other than the 6 point, we will use the point of ovary, the point of uterus, and the point of lower zio. The point of ovary, the point of uterus, and the point of lower zio. We know that. Just we have to add 3 points. So the point of ovary, the point of uterus, and the point of lower zio. So let's try to understand few more things. So I will take you to the 3D image and I will show you few more things here. So let's see whether the image is clear or not. So what I want to tell you here. So look at few things very carefully. Now look at the reproductive part very carefully. So this is the triangular fossa. Triangular fossa, and the triangular fossa has been considered as a reproductive part that we know. Triangular fossa को reproductive part consider किया जाता है, that we know. So we can divide the triangular fossa in 3 parts. The center part is ovary. And the last part in the center, this is uterus. तो ट्रायंगुलर फोसा में हमारा सेंटर पार्ट इसे हम ओवरी कहेंगे, और जो आखिरी पार्ट है उसे हम यूटरस कहते हैं, दैट इज कॉल्ड यूटरस. And if we draw one line from here like this, if we draw one line from here, this is called gynecological line or the uterine line. The name of this line is gynecological line or the uterine line. इस लाइन का नाम है gynecological line or the uterine line. In this line we have ovary and in this line we have uterus. इसी लाइन में हमारा ओवरी है और यूटरस भी है. ओवरी बीच में है और यूटरस लास्ट में है. हम जानते हैं you must be aware with the external genital part of the female. अगर हम फीमेल के external genital part की बात करें, so we know this is the uterus. Then here is vagina. Vagina means the outermost opening in the female. vagina करते हैं कि योनि द्वार. तो योनि द्वार के पहले ये जो गर्दन जैसी होती है, गर्दन, इसे कहते हैं सर्विक्स. So this is called cervix. So the meaning of vagina is opening, and this is the cervix, and this is the uterus. ये uterus है. And on the both side of the uterus, we have fallopian tube, like that, fallopian tube. One fallopian tube this side, one fallopian tube this side. Okay. यूट्रस के दोनों तरफ fallopian tube होती है. So right now I want to tell you what is cervix. Cervix is the neck between vagina and uterus. Cervix क्या है? वो गर्दन है, vaginal opening और uterus के बीच की. So many females are getting infection in the cervix. This is called cervicitis. So when the female are getting infection in the cervix, it's called cervicitis. So what is cervicitis? Cervicitis means the inflammation of the cervix. So this is the uterus. This is the neck, and this is opening, vaginal opening. Vagina. This is cervix. This is uterus. And here we are having fallopian tube. Fallopian tube. This is the fallopian tube. So now, if there is any problem in the fallopian tube, so the other name of fallopian tube is salpinx. So when you see like this, salpingitis. Salpingitis means inflammation of the fallopian tube. Salpingitis का मतलब है कि fallopian tube का inflammation. I hope all of you are aware with the fallopian tube, with the uterus. So we are not going We are not learning the anatomy. We are just telling you the name. What is a salpingitis? The meaning of salpingitis, when there is a inflammation of the fallopian tube. So these are the few words. Remember always. ये कुछ वर्ड हैं जो आपको हमेशा याद रखने होंगे. So now let's come back to our ear image. So this is the uterine line or the gynecological line. In the center of this triangular fossa, हमारे triangular fossa के सेंटर में ये जो लाइन है इसे हम कहते हैं यूट्राइन लाइन. And the center of this uterine line is ovary. And the last part of this uterine line is uterus. इसी लाइन में ओवरी मिलता है और यूट्रस मिलता है. Now the point in between, this is called cervix. Cervix. इन दोनों के बीच में जो पॉइंट पाया जाता है इसे हम कहते हैं cervix. The cervix point located in between the ovary and uterus in this uterine line. And if you go up from the cervix, just in the upper side of the cervix, this is the point of fallopian tube. Fallopian tube. So the fallopian tube and cervix found at the same level here. तो यहां पर fallopian tube और cervix एक ही लेवल पर पाए जाते हैं. So in this way, ovary, cervix, fallopian tube, and the uterus. Remember these all points. Now, so this is the triangular fossa. We can divide in three parts. And we know this upper point is Shenman. Shenman. And the lower point here, this is the point of, this is called pelvis. Pelvis. इसे हम pelvis कहते हैं. Pelvic part means the part of the hip bone. So this is the pelvis, right? Now, we have seen again and again the point which is called triple warmer. So this is the point of triple warmer. The meaning of triple warmer, who is the combination of upper warmer, middle warmer and the lower warmer. तो ट्रिपल वार्मर का अर्थ है कि जो कॉम्बिनेशन है अपर वार्मर का, मिडल वार्मर का और लोअर वार्मर का. So if we see the human body, so the upper warmer means till the chest cavity. This whole upper part is upper warmer. The middle warmer means chest to navel. This is the middle warmer. And below the navel, that is the lower warmer. तो अगर हम शरीर को तीन भागों में विभाजित करें तो हृदय के ऊपर, ये हमारी छाती के ऊपर का पूरा भाग अपर वार्मर है, छाती से नाभि तक का भाग मिडिल वार्मर है और नाभि के नीचे का भाग है लोअर वार्मर. So in that way we can divide the whole body in three warmer. In the other word, we can also tell the other name of triple warmer is Senzio. 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 So we can divide the whole body in three parts. That the upper zio, lower zio, middle zio first. Upper zio, middle zio and the lower zio. Same upper warmer, middle warmer, lower warmer. So this is the human body. So this is the upper zio, hold this upper part. This is the middle zio, hold this middle part. This is the lower zio, hold this lower part. तो पूरी बॉडी को हमने तीन भागों में बांट दिया. So the lower GIO means who include this whole area, the uterus area, the genital area, the vaginal area, the menstrual area. So whenever we are telling the lower GIO means whole reproductive part. So when we want to treat the genital problem, we again and again telling lower GIO. So we can do the discussion of there are 2 points can be considered as a lower GIO. हम 2 points की कल्पना कर सकते हैं lower GIO के लिए. So the first point will be the same, that is the sen GIO. The sen GIO is the combination of all the three GIO. The sen GIO is the combination of all three GIO. ये हमारे तीनों के तीनों GIO को combination है. Now come in this part. Now we are coming in this part. This is the superior concha. Superior concha. In the superior concha, we have all the abdominal organ. हमारे सुपीरियर कॉन्चा में सारे के सारे abdominal organ है. So we are having all the abdominal organ in the superior concha. Like we have small intestine, large intestine, rectum, we have liver, gallbladder, kidney, urinary bladder, prostate and all. So all the abdominal part we are having in the superior concha. हमारे superior concha में हमारे पेट में पाए जाने वाले किडनी, ब्लैडर सब ऑर्गन भरे पड़े. यानी इसमें केवल पेट में अपर पार्ट में ही नहीं बल्कि लोअर पार्ट के वी कैन सी द यूरिनरी ब्लैडर आल्सो हियर, prostate also here, rectum also here. So this part is having all the organ of the upper and lower abdomen, this part. So we are looking the ear like this, and especially we are looking this area, if this area having any different color, then we are declaring there is some problem in the lower zio, lower part. So this is a very good diagnostic area. ये बहुत ही शानदार diagnostic area है. हम इस एरिया को गहराई से देखते हैं. अगर ये एरिया पिगमेंटेड है यानी लोअर पार्ट में ब्लड स्टेसिस है. अगर ये एरिया लाल है मतलब लोअर पार्ट में गर्मी है. So if this area is red, means there is heat in the lower part. If this area is pigmented or the black, means there is a blocked energy in the lower part. तो blocked energy है lower part में. In that way, the lower GI. So this point also has been considered as a lower GIO. तो जब भी किसी महिला को किसी भी तरह के पीरियड्स की प्रॉब्लम होती है तो हम उसका ये भाग देखते हैं और देखते हैं कि इसमें कुछ डिफरेंट कलर तो नहीं है. क्योंकि अगर इसमें लाल रंग का चमचमाता हुआ कलर हुआ तो यूट्रस का कैंसर भी हो सकता है. एकदम लाल रंग का चमचमाता हुआ, जैसे कोई दूर से एक लाल रंग का बल्ब जल रहा हो, like the red color bulb is lightning somewhere. If you see the red lightning color here, there might be uterine tumor. And even if you see the red color here, lightning color here, red lightning color here, there might be some uterine problem. Lightning color, not the normal red color. I'm not talking about the normal red color, but if there's a really very lightning color, कि ऐसा कोई चमचमाता हुआ सितारा लाल रंग का, तो वो यूट्रस में कैंसर भी हो सकता है. So this part I have seen in many females, this part is pigmented. So it's showing the blood stasis condition of the uterus. If in the male this part is having stasis, so this is showing there is a problem in the prostate. So we can always use this point as a lower ZIO. Got it? Now, so suppose some female is suffering with the problem of dysmenorrhea. If the female is suffering with the problem of dysmenorrhea, or the painful menstruation. अगर किसी महिला को डिसमेनोरिया है और पेनफुल मेंस्ट्रुएशन है और द पेनफुल मेंस्ट्रुएशन इज देयर, so what will be our treatment? So first we are going to start the treatment in the same way for the dysmenorrhea. The meaning of dysmenorrhea means painful menstruation. जब दर्द के साथ पीरियड आता है, so starting the treatment from the thalamus, endocrine, our 6 point will remain same. Pituitary, gonadotrophin, kidney and liver. 6 point will remain same. हमारे 6 point तो वही रहेंगे. There will not be any change in the 6 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now the point number 7, uterus. Point number 8, ovary. So now 8 point will remain same for all the menstrual problem. ये 8 point तो वही रहेंगे. आप किसी भी तरह की कोई भी menstrual problem को ठीक करना चाहते हैं. Now we will think about the painful menstruation and we will try to include some more point especially for the painful menstruation. अब हम painful menstruation के लिए कुछ पॉइंट्स का स्पेशल ऐड करेंगे. So number 1 we are going to add ear apex bleeding. Ear apex bleeding. So with the help of ear apex bleeding, we can remove any pain, any inflammation from the any part of the human body. हम शरीर के किसी भी भाग से इन्फेक्शन को, इन्फ्लेमेशन को, दर्द को मिटा सकते हैं. Now the another point now we are going to use, that is the point of lower GIO. The lower GIO point is a special point for the lower part, तो हम lower GIO का use करेंगे. So this is the point for lower GIO. And the third point we are going to use, that is the point of pelvis. Pelvis means the part near the hip bone. Hip bone के आसपास काफी दर्द होता है, तो we are going to use the part near the hip bone now. So many female are getting the painful menstruation because of the stress, because of the emotional stagnation. कई females को तनाव के कारण, stress के कारण painful menstruation होता है. So many female are getting the painful menstruation because of the excessive emotional suppression or the stress. So I've seen, if the female is having some project, some female having some project, and if they are worrying a lot for that project, then they suffer with the dysmenorrhea. अगर किसी महिला के दिमाग में कोई प्रोजेक्ट चल रहा है, उसे वो पूरा करना है, तो उसे कई बार उस स्ट्रेस के कारण पेनफुल मेंस्ट्रुएशन होता है. So we have to balance the sympathetic and the parasympathetic nervous system. So for that, we are going to use the point that is sympathetic. And finally, we will use one more local point, that is cervix. Cervix. So let's see here. So our 8 points will remain same. हमारे 8 point तो वही रहेंगे. In the 8 point, we have kidney, we have liver, we have endocrine, we have pituitary, we have thalamus on the hidden side, we have GTH or the gonadotropin hormone. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 plus uterus and ovary, ovary and uterus. So these are 8 points. These are fixed for any uterine problem. ये 8 point तो fix हैं. आप किसी भी तरह की uterine problem को ठीक करना चाहते हैं. Now we want to especially work for the dysmenorrhea. Dysmenorrhea. Painful menstruation. So the first we will do the ear apex bleeding. Ear apex bleeding. Second, we are going to use the point of sympathetic, and we know the sympathetic point means here on the inner side here, that is a sympathetic. Who will bring balance in the sympathetic and the parasympathetic nervous system? So this is the sympathetic, and the point of lower GIO. This is the point of lower GIO here. So ear apex bleeding, sympathetic, the point of lower GIO, and 2 more point in the triangular fossa. The one point is pelvis, and one point is cervix. So this is the complete protocol for the painful menstruation. ये एक complete protocol है painful menstruation को मिटाने का. So write on this, then we'll proceed ahead. Done. So don't worry, we will discuss everything asked by you one by one. हम कमल जी आपने जो पूछा है वो भी डिस्कस करेंगे. We are going to discuss. No, there is a sympathetic point which is working for sympathetic as well as parasympathetic. So there is a sympathetic point who works for sympathetic as well as the parasympathetic. So there is a no separate parasympathetic point we have discussed. Okay, in the definitely it we have, but we have not discussed because sympathetic and the parasympathetic both are balanced by a sympathetic point. So look at the prostate point. So here we have liver. Here we have gallbladder. Then the kidney. Then the urinary bladder. And then the prostate. The prostate is lying till here. This is the prostate. Okay, let's go ahead and see the another point. So when the female are having painful menstruation, so generally what is the treatment methodology? The treatment methodology is this: try to avoid points, during the menstruation, especially the point of genitals. Suppose some female having period. So during the period time, avoid the point who is connected with the genitals, like the uterus, like the ovary, like the gonadotropin, like the endocrine and all. You can give other points. But if the female is suffering with too much pain or the dysmenorrhea, don't wait. You can apply the point immediately. As soon as you apply the point, pain will go away immediately within the few minutes, right? Generally, we are not doing the treatment during the menstruation if the female is having no any problem, because menstruation is a natural process which also cleans the female body. So we are not trying to disturb. But if the female is having some severe problem during the menstruation, then we have to do the treatment. Okay. तो जनरली क्या करते हैं कि menstruation के समय, मासिक स्राव के समय हम कोई ज्यादा ट्रीटमेंट करते नहीं है. We try to avoid. लेकिन अगर किसी फीमेल को कुछ ज्यादा ही तकलीफ है तो कर सकते हैं. Regarding the prostate, we will discuss separately. So now you know the cervicitis is the next protocol which we are going to discuss now. Cervicitis. Cervicitis might be, you have listened or not, I don't know, but it's a very common problem. Cervicitis with the female. तो cervicitis की प्रॉब्लम फीमेल के साथ बड़ी कॉमन है. It's a very common problem with the female, cervicitis. Cervicitis का मतलब है कि वेजाइनल ओपनिंग के बाद जो सर्विक्स का पार्ट होता है उसमें होने वाला कोई भी इन्फ्लेमेशन. इट्स अ वेरी कॉमन इन द फीमेल. If male is having male, if the male partner is having too much dampness or too much dirtiness, then also the infection can pass through the sexual intercourse and it will come to the cervix. अगर मेल पार्टनर के अंदर डैम्पनेस ज्यादा है, डैम्पनेस का मतलब है गंदगी, टर्बिडिटी, तो सेक्सुअल इंटरकोर्स के बाद सर्विक्स में इंफेक्शन थोड़ा आ सकता है, भले वो टेम्परेरी होगा. सो मेनी फीमेल्स आर सफरिंग विद द वाइट डिस्चार्ज just after sexual intercourse because of cervix, right? Cervix is the very sensitive part in the female. If the female are using unhygienic washroom or the toilet, the infection can enter in the cervix. अगर महिलाएं जिस बाथरूम का प्रयोग करती हैं वो साफ सुथरा नहीं है, जैसे कहीं घूमने गए रास्ते में, कहीं आपने ऐसी अनहाइजीनिक टॉयलेट का यूज कर लिया, इमीडिएट इंफेक्शन इंटर करता है. द सर्विक्स इज वेरी सेंसिटिव पार्ट, बहुत ही सेंसिटिव पार्ट है, तुरंत इंफेक्शन का प्रवेश होता है. यानी मेल्स आर नॉट गेटिंग द इंफेक्शन वेरी फास्ट, बट द फीमेल आर सफरिंग विद द cervicitis very very fast. मेरी आवाज नहीं आ रही है? Am I not audible? Am I audible or not? क्या मेरी आवाज आ रही है? बलजीत जी को आवाज नहीं आ रही है? So I have seen many females in the blazes during the menstrual period. They are not using hygienic, they are not following the proper hygiene, and sometimes they are using the dirty cloths and they suffer with the cervicitis. कई महिलाएं जब उनको मासिक स्राव आता है, गांव में रहने वाली कई महिलाओं को बलजीत जागरा जी, आपका मोबाइल चेक करिए, चेक योर मोबाइल. अब उनको ये भी नहीं आ रही होगी आवाज. तो कई महिलाओं को जब गांव में रहने वाली कई महिलाएं जब मासिक स्राव के दौरान हाइजीन का पालन नहीं करती हैं, गंदे कपड़े का प्रयोग करती हैं, तो भी सर्विक्स का इंफेक्शन हो जाता है. दे सफर विद द सर्विसाइटिस. ओके, दे सफर विद द सर्विसाइटिस. Cervicitis is a very big problem in many females. They are going to the doctor and telling doctor, I'm suffering with the white discharge. Suffering with the white discharge because of the cervicitis. So it's always advisable for the female, please avoid using unhygienic washroom. Female body is multiple more times sensitive than the male for getting the infection. Sometimes there are many diseases happening in the cervix. कई बीमारियां सर्विक्स में ही होती है. हर्पीज नाम की बीमारी भी सर्विक्स में हो जाती है. हर्पीज, have you heard? Herpes is a very painful disease, and sometimes it's happening in the cervix. It's a very painful condition. हर्पीज नाम की बीमारी भी सर्विक्स में हो जाती है. So in that way, how can we do the treatment of the cervix? So there is a very simple treatment, the same treatment we have to apply. Cervicitis. itis means inflammation. itis का अर्थ होता है inflammation, right? So when the female suffering with the any types of inflammation, जब महिलाएं किसी भी प्रकार के inflammation का शिकार होती हैं, so the first point will be ear apex bleeding. So we will do the ear apex bleeding. The second point will be cervix. So this is the triangular fossa, and this is the uterine line. We can divide in three parts. So this is the cervix. ये cervix है. Then the lower GIO or the sens GIO, we are going to use both points. So this is the lower GIO. And the sens GIO. And the finally, do not forget the spleen. Spleen will reduce the formation of pus or the white discharge, spleen. So use the point spleen. Many female are suffering with the cervicitis because of the poor spleen, because the poor spleen is making the phlegm or the cough or the turbidity or the dirtiness. spleen कमजोर होगी तो गंदगी का निर्माण होगा, म्यूकस और कफ का निर्माण होगा, right? Other than this, we have to use all the 8 points. इसके अलावा तो सारे 8 point use करने ही करना. So we have to use all the other 8 point other than this. So let's see once again here. Look at all the 8 point here. Because cervicitis is the very common problem in the female. And we can do the very good treatment, successful treatment using this protocol. हम इस प्रोटोकॉल के माध्यम से शानदार ट्रीटमेंट कर सकते हैं. So our 8 point will remain same. The first point is kidney. The second point will be the liver. The third point will be the endocrine. The fourth point will be the pituitary. Now on the hidden side, opposite side, that is the thalamus. On the hidden side, on the opposite side, that is the gonadotropin hormone. So 6 points are common. These 6 points are always common. Now this is the uterine line, and this is the ovary and the uterus. So this is the ovary, and this is the uterus. 8 points will remain same. ये 8 point तो वही रहेंगे हर बार. Now we want to treat the problem of cervicitis. Itis means inflammation. तो जब भी itis बढ़ा जाए, पहला treatment bleeding from the ear apex. Whenever there is any inflammation, bleeding from ear apex. कान के सिर से blood निकाल देना. This is the first. Now we will also use the point of cervix. We are using the point of lower GIO or the lower part. We will also use the point sens GIO. हम sens GIO का भी प्रयोग करेंगे, lower GIO का भी प्रयोग करेंगे. We will use the point of spleen. Spleen will reduce the formation of cough, formation of mucus. स्प्लीन के माध्यम से कफ और म्यूकस का निर्माण रुक जाएगा. दैट्स इट, डन. वी हैव टू डू दिस मच ट्रीटमेंट. इतना ट्रीटमेंट करके हम सर्विसाइटिस को ठीक कर सकते हैं, हम ल्यूकोरिया वाइट डिस्चार्ज को ठीक कर सकते हैं. कई बार ल्यूकोरिया वहीं से आता है. मेनी फीमेल आर सफरिंग विद दिस प्रॉब्लम. इवन द सेक्सुअल ट्रांसमिटेड डिसीज also create the cervicitis first. Sexual transmitted disease भी cervicitis ही करती हैं. So this is the very good treatment of the cervicitis. ये cervicitis का एक बेहतरीन ट्रीटमेंट है. If the patient coming to you with the problem of STD, STD means sexual transmitted disease. Okay, that is the, you have to do the same treatment. आपको यही ट्रीटमेंट करना है. So what is the protocol of cervicitis? The meaning of cervicitis means inflammation of the cervix. Inflammation of cervix. So the 8 point will remain same: kidney, liver, endocrine, thalamus, pituitary, GTH, gonadotropin, uterus, ovary. 8 points will remain same. ये 8 पॉइंट तो समान रहेंगे. Then other points: lower zio, cervix, sensio, ear apex bleeding, and final spleen. Done. This is the very good treatment for STD और द सर्विसाइटिस. सेक्सुअल ट्रांसमिटेड डिसीज के लिए गजब का ट्रीटमेंट है. हमने हैवी ब्लीडिंग का प्रोटोकॉल कल बताया था. आपको ये 8 पॉइंट में एड्रीनल का पॉइंट जोड़ देना है या डायफ्राम का पॉइंट भी जोड़ देना है तो हो जाएगा. Yesterday we have discussed the protocol of the heavy bleeding. Just in these 8 points at the point of adrenal gland and the diaphragm. So that is the treatment. If the female is having heavy bleeding, so even we can do the treatment during the time of heavy bleeding. So we have to discuss in the sequence. We will discuss step by step everything. Now we have completed how to regulate the menstruation. Then menstrual disorder. Yesterday we have discussed that what is the treatment of amenorrhea. अगर period नहीं आता है तो क्या treatment है? So then you have to just add exciting point. You have to add exciting point and period will start. And yesterday we have discussed the treatment of heavy bleeding. फिर हमने आज समझा पेनफुल मेंस्ट्रुएशन का ट्रीटमेंट, डिस्मेनोरिया एंड द ट्रीटमेंट ऑफ सर्विसाइटिस. Everything is coming, don't worry. Suppose the female is suffering with the leukorrhea, white discharge. It's a very common problem that we know. हम जानते हैं कि ल्यूकोरिया, हम सब पढ़ेंगे इनफर्टिलिटी का प्रोटोकॉल, मेनोपॉज का प्रोटोकॉल, यूट्राइन प्रोलैप्स का प्रोटोकॉल, पेल्विक में इन्फ्लेमेशन का प्रोटोकॉल, फैलोपियन ट्यूब ऑब्स्ट्रक्शन का प्रोटोकॉल, एंडोमेट्रियोसिस का, सब पढ़ेंगे. डोंट वरी, वी आर गोइंग टू डिस्कस ऑल. And when you feel, oh, this disease has not discussed, just use the 8 point. जब आपको लगे कि अरे इस बीमारी का डिस्कशन नहीं किया गया, तो 8 पॉइंट को ऐड कर दो. Otherwise, we are going to discuss all. So what is the treatment of white discharge or the leukorrhea? Very common problem. Very common problem in the female. आपने क्या लिखा है वो समझ में नहीं आ रहा है. प्लीज शो एडिशन NG point once again. What is that? I don't understand. So let's see the protocol of leukorrhea, white discharge. If the female is suffering with the white discharge or the leukorrhea, what is the protocol? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 point will remain same always, whether the menstrual disorder or the heavy menstruation, menorrhea, dysmenorrhea, menorrhagia, or the low menstruation, oligomenorrhea, or any type of the menstrual disorder, this 8 point will remain same. ये 8 point तो रहेंगे चाहे किसी भी प्रकार का menstrual disorder हो. Now female is suffering with the leukorrhea. Leukorrhea might be the result of inflammation. It might be the result of weakness of the spleen, because the weakness of the spleen is making the dampness, resulting the leukorrhea. So what is the treatment? The first point will be ear apex bleeding. So we want to remove all the infections away. So do the bleeding from the ear apex. Whatever the infection, it will be taken care. अगर कोई infection होगा, उसे ठीक कर दिया जाएगा. Ear apex bleeding, immediately you will see the results. So the 8 point will remain same, which will balance everything at the deeper level. 8 point तो समान रहेंगे, ये हर चीज को बहुत ही डीपर लेवल पर बैलेंस कर देंगे. और इनके अलावा हमारा जो अगला पॉइंट ईयर अपेक्स ब्लीडिंग होगा, ताकि हम सब प्रकार के इन्फेक्शंस को निकाल सकें. वी विल एबल टू रिमूव ऑल टाइप्स ऑफ इन्फेक्शंस. वी विल आल्सो एट द पॉइंट ऑफ स्प्लीन, बिकॉज द वीकनेस ऑफ स्प्लीन इज मेकिंग द डैम्पनेस एंड द टर्बिडिटी. स्प्लीन की कमजोरी से तो टर्बिडिटी का निर्माण होता है. So the spleen point will be added. So this is the point of spleen. And we will use the point of sens zio and the lower zio both, because we always can take the lower zio for all types of the menstrual disorder, uterine disorder, ovarian problem, any problem which is happening in the lower part, lower zio, we always can use lower zio. So this is the lower zio. So lower zio and the sens zio. तो हमने दोनों संज्ञाएं भी ले ली, लोअर GI. We will also use the point of pelvis because the pelvic part is having, the pelvis is the local point. So this is the point of pelvic. And we will take the adrenal gland point. Adrenal gland point is the very important point to remove all types of inflammation away. It will keep the all types of inflammation because adrenal gland is secreting the steroids. With the help of steroids, these are the natural steroids, we can remove all types of inflammation away. तो हमने एड्रिनल ग्लैंड का पॉइंट ले लिया. So this is the adrenal gland point. Done. So there is no much difference. We have made the same protocol like the cervicitis, only few points are extra. हमने cervicitis की तरह point use किया और ऐसा it's not mandatory that you have to use each and every point. Sometimes you can skip some points as per the need, as per the condition. So we have used all the points even in the cervicitis protocol. Here we have added pelvic, adrenal gland, only 2 points we have added. हमने केवल 2 point add कर दिए because for the leukorrhea patient, adrenal points is really very helpful. जब पेशेंट को ल्यूकोरिया होता है तो एड्रिनल ग्लैंड पॉइंट काफी हेल्प करता है because the adrenal gland point secreting the steroid and steroid is helping for removing all types of inflammation. Leukorrhea is the result of inflammation many times. Okay. When there is an unwanted dampness in the lower part, when there is an unwanted damp heat in the lower part, when there is unwanted turbidity or the dirtiness in the lower part, resulting leukorrhea. तो जब लोअर पार्ट में, लोअर GI में गंदगी होती है, टर्बिडिटी होती है, डैम्पनेस होती है, फ्लेम होता है, तो ल्यूकोरिया होता है. तो ये एक अच्छा प्रोटोकॉल. इट्स अ वेरी गुड प्रोटोकॉल, वंडरफुल प्रोटोकॉल. एंड नाउ वी नो ऑल द पॉइंट्स ऑलरेडी. हम सारे पॉइंट्स की लोकेशन को ऑलरेडी समझ चुके हैं. So I don't think again I have to show you in the 3D image. Do you want or you know now? Cervix point मैंने ऑलरेडी समझाया था. Cervix point. Cervix is here. समझाया था. I have already demonstrated the cervix point. हमने एक्साइटिंग पॉइंट की 2 लोकेशन देखी थी. Okay, I will show you. So let's see the cervix point and the exciting point once again. So look at this point. This is the temple point. Okay, this is the temple point, right? But if you go just on the other side of this temple point, on the hidden side of this temple point, there is an exciting point. So look at here. अगर मैं कान के अंदर चला जाऊं, so this is the tip of the ear. And if you go in the bottom, that is the thalamus. And the tip of the ear, that is called Ding Chuan. So just next to the Ding Chuan, that is exciting point. Exciting. Ding Chuan के ठीक बाद में exciting point होता है. So the exciting point, the tip of the antitragus is Ding Chuan. If you drop down from there, but on the hidden side, that is the exciting point. And the another is point I told you, helix 1 is also the exciting point. This is the point of excitement. Helix 1 भी हम excitement का point मानते हैं. Now another point you told about the cervix, I told you. This is the triangular fossa and this is the uterine line. इसे हम कहते हैं uterine line. So the center point is ovary. This point is uterus. And this line is uterine line. The point between ovary and uterus, this point is cervix. इनके बीच का जो पॉइंट है उसे हम कहते हैं cervix. Done. Understood? ओके फाइन. तो चलिए आज की क्लास को समाप्त करते हैं. अभी तो डिस्कशन काफी है. स्टिल वी हैव टू डिस्कस अ लॉट एंड नाउ विल डिस्कस द रिमेनिंग पार्ट ऑन फ्राइडे. अब हम फ्राइडे को बात करेंगे. सो रिमेंबर